Sometimes I read comments and see people who have this mentality where they completely ignore everything I say in a video because they'll be like, well, everyone is mean to me. Well, everyone hates me. Nobody respects me. No one likes me. Everyone treats me bad. And, that's why I have no friends because everyone everyone, for some reason, everyone crosses you. You know what I'm saying? So I remember in an older video I shared, it's not a metaphor. I would say it's either an axiom or an aphorism. But he said to me, if you wake up and someone is being a jerk to you or a jackass to you, they're probably a jerk or a jackass. But if you wake up and everyone is a jerk or a jackass to you, you're probably the jerk or the jackass. It's interesting because usually when people treat you poorly, like being rude, dismissive, aggressive, without being provoked, most to all of the time, there's something going on with them mentally, right? They could be stressed. They could have high prejudice or judgment against you, right? Now, some people, they just have rough days and it shows in their social interactions. Sometimes every day is rough for them. So every day they show their social interactions to be them being a jackass, and they're constantly a jackass. But then this applies if we flip the script. If it feels like the whole world is against you, coworkers are constantly snapping on you, strangers for some reason feel very short-tempered around you, or nobody treats you serious or likes you or respects you, or everyone apparently does this and that to you, like, for real, you always at the wrong end of stuff, right? And this pattern is constant, no matter where you go or what you do, and you're in situations like this, the problem is probably you. It's probably your attitude, your behavior. And this is one people don't talk about much, because people like, I have a good personality. Okay, well, this is another reason why this happens. Your expectations. Some people, they have a good attitude or behavior or personality, right? But their expectations are terrible to the point where they can be overly sensitive or act in ways that provoke others because their bar is so high for other people. You expect too much out of people you don't even know. That's the problem. And then you will externalize that and react with that. And now you acting crazy. And now you being edgy. And now you want to remove people or block people. And now, you know what I'm saying? You take things, too personally. Now, not to get off track too much, but this is a big problem in the dating scene, for example. Not all men are the same. The same could be said about women. Not all women are the same. But the problem is the expectations are so high. And I think a lot of it is due to these alpha males and masculinity. I don't know what the nonsense, right? But you could be a genuinely good person, but you could be so influenced by this that you have such a good soul, but because of these expectations, you might project negativity onto all men or women that you are meeting or talking to potentially date or something, or you may act in a way based off of this expectation, and it will provoke others to be a certain way towards you that you may not like. Again, remember I talked about the overly sensitivity or, the yada, yada. And again, look, let's keep it, we end up in situations often where we end up being in bad luck, right? Sometimes situations can be isolated. You might meet someone or be talking to someone and they have so much baggage in their life right now that they're just not nice to be around, bruh. But that's an isolated situation. It could just be a homie, right? It could just be a friend. It could be a family member, a single one, right? Or whoever you meet. But if that's an isolated situation, right? If you find yourself to be the common denominator, like you're always there, like you're always in isolated situations where someone is pushing things onto you that you don't like, or, this and that, they're probably, it's probably something wrong with you. But also consider that, what I call this, an axiom or aphorism. Maybe here's another term, a proverb, right? Like every proverb or axiom or aphorism, it's not universally true. It's not like scientific or divine law of the universe, like, for example, everyone could be a jerk to you because of systematic issues, a toxic workplace, or a dysfunctional family where everyone is being difficult, including you, because of the group dynamic. It happens, such is life. But remember what I said about isolated situations. I consider that an isolated situation. You could be at work and work is toxic, right? I mean, everyone at work is rude or something like that. Or maybe your household is crazy, everyone crazy. But, if you step outside of those environments and for some reason everyone is still being a jackass to you, bruh, you got to take the hint. You got to take the hint. It's not the world, man. It's not the world against you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might be against the world at this point. You know what I mean? Also, another thing that isn't universally true about this proverb is that sometimes people have mental health issues. Like, I have anxiety issues. It's a lot better now, but I remember being younger, or even when I had depression. Like, your perception is so distorted because of that. Like, when you have depression or anxiety or some sort of mental condition or some whatever, right? Neutral interactions with people, like just general normal interactions, feel aggressive. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I was going through my roughest patches in life, even last year, sometimes normal things people said to me, it felt like I was being attacked. Even when I was just heavily stressed, I took everything so personal. Like, why do you hate me? Like, even though you're just saying something normal to me, you're just giving genuine advice. You're just talking normal. Like, why are you hating me? Why are you being this way? Why are you doing like, bruh? Like, I say that's a mental health issue, but that's something to be aware of and control the best you can when it pops up. Like me personally, Aku, when I get stressed, I could be very irritable. I will snap at people. When I'm stressed, I hate it when people try to talk to me because I'm super irritated. And what happens is when I'm stressed or I'm going through something, I get in my head a lot. Like I tend to overanalyze or over articulate something in my head. And I'm so much deep into thought that if someone's talking to me, it interrupts my thought. And I get so annoyed, like, bro, don't interrupt my thought. I'm thinking, I'm trying to articulate something that I'm worked up and stressed about. I'm trying to find a solution or something, or I'm overthinking about this and that and all these different factors. And, like, but I've worked on it to a degree, right? I'm not perfect with it. I've worked on it where I may respond still in a neutral manner, but look, it's very easy to read on my face that I'm worked up, right? But I'll just be small with my words if you try to talk to me because I don't want to be a jackass to everybody because of what I'm stressed about. I don't want to put my burdens and baggage to other people, though I still might. I'm not perfect again, but hey, you got to maintain yourself despite the environment or the toxic workspace or whatever mental situation you're going through, Because everyone else is being difficult, you don't have to be difficult yourself. Does that make sense? And because if you make it difficult, you're just going to make it more difficult for other people. Sometimes you don't have to match the level of how certain people are acting. I hope this makes sense, though, or something to think about. Always check your own role in a situation before you turn it into a world is against me type of mentality. What did you contribute to this happening to you? What did you say? What were your expectations for this person? Did you set the bar too high already? Why did you do that? Did you have false hope for something? Were you trying to be overly optimistic, which is another issue maybe I'll talk about in another video, but like, how are other people treating you besides this person? What are you going through right now? Where your responses or your behavior, again, expectations may not be the best for social interaction. Sometimes you need to be alone because sometimes it's not them. You're the jackass. You're the aggressive one. You're the dismissive one. You're the rude one. It happens. Not everyone is all positive and flowers and stuff like that. Such is life. Anyway, this episode is found on Spotify and YouTube. I'm out.